We're live.
Okay. All right. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you.
To the next session of Team Resonant. Who would like to start us out as a quick recap? I will randomly select Carpathios.
All right. So we ended last week, or 2 weeks ago, getting onto our ship and sort of negotiating a little bit with the crew and everybody else on the ship to make our passage. And I believe we agreed to pay them a livable wage. And
Yes.
Nay,
And-
sir. We
and,
pay them hazard pay.
and
We were very excited.
then after coming to terms, some of us headed downstairs and went to sleep, and some of us went about exploring the ship and finding a chest full of goodies and gold. And those of us that went to sleep had some fun dream sequences where we leveled up. And I could stop there. I could keep going.
That's good. What else about the ship? What do we remember about the ship itself? Ryan, Dragno, Regic.
What do we learn about the ship? Trying to remember.
Was it? It's owned by House.
Well, yeah, I knew that. Well, yeah, it's owned by whoever, house, whatever. But
The House the damn daughter, and
I know that we're gonna need to find some way to hide the ship because someone's gonna be asking questions about it. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, like what did you guys? I know we haven't totally decided, but it was made known, right, that the ship has some type of registration.
Yeah.
If it is recognized, then it could be listed. Now,
Yeah, my idea was to paint the ship and try to see if we could forge documents, but I didn't know if that was we had decided on that or not.
It's got an air elemental, right? That's the one thing that's powering it.
correct.
Yep.
So, quick note about ships, which you guys wouldn't necessarily know for sure, but fire elementals in airships give more power, whereas
Okay.
air elementals give more speed and maneuverability. So the big ships tend to be more along the lines of fire elementals for heavy cargo and things like that, whereas the more maneuverable ships tend to use a bound air element. So, in addition to the crew and the pay, and then worrying about the ship itself, you guys will also need to decide. So roughly speaking, you're heading towards Zolenberg, which is where Regic is actually from. Regic was part of law enforcement, and in Zilargo, very similar to how the Council of 12 operates. Zilargo also has a kind of a paramilitary force called the Trust. Before the Treaty of Thronehold, when Zilargo became a nation in its own right, they were more of a secret organization. They collected information, traded secrets, state secrets, other nations' secrets, things like that, and were more of a secret police. But after the Treaty of Thronehold, they actually became the de facto law enforcement. So the trust today would be like saying, the FBI in the U.S. or the CIA. They are well known, even if we don't always know exactly what they do. No one's surprised to hear about FBI or equivalent agencies. So it's been some time, right? Regic, you've been out for probably, how long would you say, actually? I would say probably at least 2 years.
Yeah. Yep. I think I was like 21 when I left or whatever.
Yeah. So it's been a while. And so that's the other thing. Now, who can tell me, Aragnis, why are you heading to Zalarga? And particularly, I'm going to take us all to the map here real quick. So we are headed to Zolenberg, right? That's this with the blue circle here.
Well, I know we had several leads before we ended up in Gatherhold. One of them had to do with a connection to the tome that that Derogate has, and then another kind of rumor was this other band that had a similar experience that we had with kind of experiencing the deity, trying to be revived. There's word that it happens in several locations, and a couple areas it failed, like it failed for us.
Where was it? Like, what's unique about this one? Because there was something unique about this one.
Well, there was one band, and I think they went missing, right?
There's been a couple that have gone missing.
Okay.
I'll help you out here. So, as Matt highlighted, the place that you're looking to go to, or one of the leads, was in Volar Dral. It's across the Seawall Mountains in Dargoon. What was unique about this is the summoning was unsuccessful.
Okay, so they succeeded. Okay.
So in a way, they did succeed, whereas with your group, the summoning was completed.
Yes.
And so that's all that was known at the time. But that group is gone missing, and you know that they've gone missing. There was another group, not of servitors, but of the Marshals of Korth. They went missing in Fairhaven.
Okay. Was the Valar Dral? Is that
Servitor.
Was that a tip from Atreus, or?
That was, yeah.
Okay.
It was information he had. He didn't have as much on them because they were a group similar to yours.
Gotcha.
And then last but not least, far across the map in Drome is Kazakh Dral. All right.
So what does draw mean? Does it mean cave?
That's probably something from, as you can see, there's a couple of them. There's Tarn Dral, Suthar Dral.
And then there's Volar Dral over here,
Yep,
which
yep.
were so
It
it must have a meaning.
It has to do with the previous Goblin Empire.
It's a hobgoblin name, yeah.
Yeah.
So Zolenberg is kind of the city that we last know that this group
Well, honestly, you guys,
disappeared from.
yeah, what you guys were looking for is a base of operation, right? And it was decided that because Regic has contacts who can help him get information in Zolenberg, that it was close enough to Volar Draal to head there first instead of heading directly to Volar Draal, because in Zolenberg at least there's two things that Zolenberg has to offer. In addition to Regic's contacts within the Trust, it's also a hub of information. For example, in Kohlenberg, it is the largest library on the continent.
Oh, okay.
And people from all over, both Corvair and the other continents, go to study in Kohlenberg. The gnomes themselves are renowned shipwrights. They are the ones that discovered how to bind elementals, and it's not just airships, but it is airships, armor, weapons. So they're not
Vibrators,
only
yeah.
you know, just the necessities. And so the plus it's home. So in Zalargo, the biggest house there would be House Civis, and they control the speaking stones used across Corvair. So it's a hub of information. So it's a good place to get information. So that's kind of why you guys had decided to start in Zolenberg. Now, obviously, you do have a ship, provided you can keep it.
Yes.
So you have a little bit more mobility, but I think that's where we're headed first.
Excellent.
You guys can decide really from there where you go. But all right, well, let's get to it.
I have a quick separate question. What else was discovered in the chest besides gold? Was there anything else?
Just manifests and things like that, logs. So
Okay.
the logs have, a list of cargo and things like that. But mostly in the chest was just the more like emergency funds. Now there were writs.
Okay.
So there are several writs where you could pull potentially large sums through the bankers of Kundrak on behalf of House Lorandar. So, you have the potential to get access to a lot of gold if you could get away with it. Right? So, if you guys decide you want to be pirates,
Yeah, it's like weighing the repercussions. Yeah.
Right. Right. So, all right. So where we had left off, Derogate, Aragnis, and Regic had gone to sleep while Kraz and Jordan broke into the vault, and then that's when they discovered the funds and things like that. So at some point, I'm going to say that Kraz, aka Gorlag, aka Zel-Ott, is gonna. What's the other one?
Lord Erminard.
Erminard. Oh yeah.
For someone who doesn't want to shapeshift a lot, you shapeshift a lot.
I was forced into it, and now I'm embracing it. My character's evolving.
Exactly.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that.
All right. So
Right before-
yeah, the mini faces of Kraz. At some point, you're going to head back.
Yep. Sleepy
So I'm
time.
gonna pull everyone. I'm gonna pull everyone back over to the other. I still haven't gotten my we fly. So I still haven't gotten all my level stuff working, so we can easily switch between the levels of the ship. So I believe Dero Gate was up over here. Where is Regic? Oh, Regic is this one.
On that beautiful queen,
Yeah, the Dark Queen.
Kerrigan from StarCraft.
Then we'll say, and she does look like Kerrigan actually. So we'll say Aragnis is on the top bunk. All right. So as Kraz, you make your way back into the ship, into the quarters. The moment you kind of walk into the cabin, one of the first things that you see is Dero Gate restless, and he's kind of tossing and turning, and soon after, like just kind of seeing that, soon after you feel a pulsing, like almost like a vibration coming from your talisman, from the shard that you took out of the Mournland. You kind of reach down and see it. You're just kind of like looking at it. It doesn't often, do anything, although you know that somehow this has been, your life changed the moment you found the shard. The things that you could do, your abilities, everything stemmed from this shard. And as you kind of hold it, the pulsing quickens. It's not sitting on anything visible, and it's hard to say you could even feel it. It's almost like some force that you can sense with some type of sixth sense, if you will. And as you're kind of looking at it, the pulsing is picking up, and then it stops. And instantly Dero Gate settles. And you see just calm sleep at that point. Not really knowing what to make of it, you head to your bunk, find a place, but then you're just kind of studying, and your mind goes back to that fateful day when that expedition into the Mournlands from the Black Pits. And just it's not something you've dwelled on because of, in some ways your mind has just literally blanked out some of what happened. You were young, but being the only survivor from that expedition, it's left its mark upon you. And as you sit there kind of just looking at the shard, you see swirls of color starting to move within it. And as you continue to hold the shard, slight vibrations and pulses start coming, slow at first, and then it will get into almost the opposite of a pattern. It's chaotic, almost as if it's some type of code or signaling. There seems to be repeated patterns, but you can't make sense of it.
Is Derogate moving?
From your
a
bunk,
glance.
you can't see, but if you peek out, he's not. Calm sleep. And as you continue to just look at the shard, the swirling pattern just kind of draws your eye as you watch and watch. There's the swirl with the color pulsing, and suddenly you find yourself back in the Mournlands. Looking around, things are almost familiar. You know where you are, but more importantly, you know what's going to happen. As you look around, you see companions you knew. And as your party walks, all of your party members are in like muted, dull colors. They're faded like a memory, whereas parts of the Mournland themselves are vibrant, colors glaring to you. And one by one, you see some of your party members disappear, just fade away like smoke, until it's just you and what was probably your best friend at the time. Looking, you can see the hollowed out ruins where you guys were headed. He turns to you and he says, "This better be worth it. We've lost too many. Let's go." And you follow him, knowing what's in that building, what you will find in. Something that your mind has literally blocked. The only thing you know for sure is that when you return, you have the shard with you. As he approaches and enters the building, you know this isn't what happened before. You're not seeing what happened, because you know that the moment the two of you stepped foot into this building, it was chaos. And the only thing you remember is waking up outside of the Mournland with the shard. As he steps foot inside, he turns to you and he says, "Something's not right. I can feel it." Looking ahead, looking down at himself, he says, "I don't make it, do I? Dead." Unable to speak, unable to communicate with him, he just looks at you, sees the truth in your eyes. He heads deeper. You follow cautiously, expecting all manner of things to leap out. And yet, for all intents and purposes, it's just a regular ruin. You head down, and there, on a shattered table, the shard, your shard, and you can see the same colors and whirls and vibrations. Immediately, he goes over to it, picks it up. Again, you're following, watching, unable to speak or interact. You're just there. And when he picks the shard up, he turns to you and says, "This was it, wasn't it?" And he looks at you, accusing, as in your hand you hold a twin to his. And the shards pulse in time, pulse together. Slowly he walks towards you. Was it worth it? Did you leave me to die? Did you bring all of us here to die? For this? Deeper and deeper the pulses come, faster and faster. The closer he gets, the more vivid the colors, the swirls. Everything else is graying out. Colors just bleeding from your surroundings, bleeding from him until he stands there, almost translucent, black and white. Here then, take it. Gods damn you! Gods damn you for what you've done! And he moves the shard towards you. And as it connects to your shard, suddenly all of the colors in the room come back. The shard is still pulsing, but not like a strobe, just like a soft glow as your friend fades to mist. The shard, as you stare into it, you start seeing flashes, images, horrible things that you have long forgotten. Coils of fire taking monstrous forms and shapes, ripping into people you knew. Unspeakable creatures attacking in the night, tearing apart people as the rest of you tried to fight them off and flee. And everywhere, the sense of things coming towards you. And this, all of these are quick flashes in your mind. But then you see yourself on the other side, lying there with the shard. And you see a being, something of almost pure chaotic energy, standing at the boundary, the mist wall of the Mournlands, slightly parted as this being stares upon you. And it stretches forth its hand, and a line of energy comes from it into the shard, which is a dull, almost gray-green color. And as the energy hits the shard, your body jolts. You wake up as if from either a deep sleep or even death. And the shard begins to glow and pulse again. You know that something saved you that day and marked you that day. That dull, colorless shard you held, that you saw, became the brilliant, pulsing shard you see now. And as the beam of light separates from the creature and the mist wall begins to close back around it, energy pulse between it and the shard continues until the being is obscured, but the shard continues to pulse. Back in the room, having seen these flashes and visions, back in the ruins where you found the shard, you feel an overwhelming sense that this, what you hold, is but a piece of something greater. All you feel and sense in the shard, though you hear no words, is release me. Jolting in your bunk, you look down at the shard. Find the key. Open the gate. Power I give to thee. Suddenly, the pulsing dims till it's just that dull, faded color. Something that almost looks like a dragon shard, but not quite right. Jordan. Welcome, first off. Where we left you, it was after you had gotten into the vault on the airship. And as Kraz helped you and heads back, you decide to just kind of look around, taking stock. Being the Warforged that you are, knowing the amount of sleep and time for recharge and meditation that you need, you kind of just keep to the vault and kind of look around at the cargo. But after a while, you need to kind of regroup, recharge, if you will. And so as you sit and kind of, almost in a way, just kind of power down, reflecting on everything that has happened, everything that you've gone through up until this point, and where you're headed. And for really the first time in a while, you have kind of an opportunity to just kind of go through and take stock of everything. And one of the things you haven't had as much time to do, but is something that you not only take pride in, but have been trained to do, is to care for your equipment. As you kind of go everything and set everything aside, you've never really had the opportunity to study the blade that you were given. And as you are cleaning and inspecting your gear, the rapier that you hold, this is a weapon that was once held by a companion of sorts. This was someone who had been with you really since the start of this particular mission, which was Lorinak, the House Civis gnome who served Lord Harvest. And at first glance, it appears to be a fine blade. In fact, you know that it is a fine blade. You know that magics were used to forge it, and that it is exceptional in both its weight, balance, and its ability to kill. But this is really the first time that you've gotten to really take a look at it. And as you study the fine craftsmanship, you notice for sure that this is no normal blade. In addition to it being magical, there is something about it. It's also very striking. It's unique. Even as far as ornate weapons go, rapiers in particular. And so as you study, you know, the hilt, the case, the blade itself, you notice a series of runes down the blade. And they almost seem to just catch the light in unique ways. And you can't quite make them out. It's not a language that you know. But you can definitely tell that this is not an ordinary blade. That the maker of this sword put, you know, heart and soul. And you just, again, for the first time, you notice how truly, truly special and remarkable this blade is. And you just, you get the feeling that there's a lot more to the story. And knowing that House Civis, being where Lorwynach was from, maybe there are answers. Here you are heading into Zollenberg, and there's almost this compulsion, this feeling that you need to. Maybe the family. There's almost even a small part of you that thinks maybe you should return this blade. You know that both you and Lorwynach were betrayed, both hunted by the Council of 12. So you have no idea how her family might react, or her house. But again, there's almost that feel that you need this yearning to know more about such a fine blade. And as you put the rest of your gear together and get ready to rest, just that feeling comes down. And you know that between your unique origin and everything that you've done for the house, your survival may depend on something other than just returning to favor with the servitor. Now, I think, everyone is leveled, correct?
Yes.
Yes. think so.
I
Last game.
waited until after that for the other group, but I think I did level you guys first. So, with that passage, everyone kind of resting and getting everything together, the night passes. You guys can all, if you haven't done so already, if you click on your character sheet up in the top left corner by your portrait, there's a little picture of a bed, and you can choose to click a long rest. That'll recover hit points and any abilities you have used if you haven't already done so. And Kraz just did. So boom. All right. So with that, you guys all kind of wake up. It's been a long journey thus far. In addition to being an interesting night for some. And with that, what do you guys want to do first? I know you can probably check in with the captain to see where you are. As you know, the ship has sailed through the night. You guys you can tell me what you want to do.
For me, I'm just going to, while we're traveling, how many days do we have for travel?
So with from where you guys were, you can't fly through the morning. All right, so it's about, the way you would go, it's about 1,000 miles.
So half a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I'm joking.
He did say it was a fast airship.
It is.
Yeah, half a day is pretty quick for 1,000 miles.
Yeah, it's just...
Making the Kessel Run.
So it's about 33 hours. So
Oh wow!
just
Okay.
a little over 24.
All right, so I think what I'm going to do after breakfast or whatever, I'm going to just try to wander the ship and help out where I can. I want to be able to get a feel of how to run this ship in case some of the crew leave.
Okay.
I'll just keep myself busy doing that.
Okay. Anyone else pursuing that particular activity or anything else?
I think that's a pretty good idea. I'm gonna tag along with helping out around the ship just in case we need to, learn some skills about flying and whatnot.
Okay.
Before you do, Derek, when I wake up, when the both of us are up, I look over at you and I say, How was your night?
I had some vivid dreams, but it was otherwise okay. All right. It's intense dreaming. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing you want to discuss, or?
Honestly, I don't really think there's anything to discuss from it. Just kind of a normal. I would call it a happy dream.
I just say and I turn to whatever I was doing before, looking at paperwork and like the manifests and stuff, or head over to the table and look at the manifests. My plan is to try to come up with a financial plan for what we're going to do when we get there to Zollenberg.
All right.
Yeah, and to sort of support that endeavor, I really want to be doing a thorough search of the ship, and I'm specifically looking for anything that might have been left off the official manifest, that doesn't have ties to something somebody's expecting to show up, that I could therefore, loot, nobody would miss, and put the coin in my pocket.
Okay.
We do have cargo to trade, right? Like this has
Correct.
Cargo that had a destination.
Yep.
If we want.
Yeah. And I believe the captain had kind of mentioned that last time, in that you would have the ability to sell it if you choose to try and go through with the original deal. Then obviously there will probably be a lot of red flags because they would know the ship is stolen. But someone's always willing to buy a cargo. You might get the black market sell price, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is definitely cargo to sell.
It's probably a good
the
idea to
cargo
sell
intended
cargo.
to go? I mean, like, what was its original destination and plan?
So that is in the manifests and shipping logs. So if you guys spend some time, you would probably be able to get a pretty good idea of where it was supposed to go. The good news is where you're headed is not where the ship was headed. So there was nothing in Zolenberg or Dargoon. Now, I would say you guys are probably now from Gatherhold, I'm going to say you guys are probably almost to the Kraken Bay. In fact, you probably are now into the Kraken Bay. So you're now south of the Talenta Plains, Gatherhold, past Valinar, into the bay that separates Valinar from Dargoon. So from here, you'll head south enough to avoid the shadowy walls of the Mournlands until you can cut southwest into Dargoon. So with that, there's you're well past. It looks like the ship was actually destined for the Mror Holds in between Karnath and north of the Talenta Plains.
Oh, okay.
So basically, the exact opposite direction of where you guys are headed.
I'd like
Now-
to confer with the captain and try to get a sense of what the likelihood is of us running into another ship along this path that we're going forward in, and whether or not we can make safe passage and safe harbor at Zolenberg, or if we need to take more stealth tactics and land at a distance, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. And so Derogate, Regic are working with the crew and getting an eye for what it takes to run the ship. I would say Kraz and Jordan are actually kind of working together in that you're inspecting cargo and thinking about what you have available to you, what resources you can create from them. And then Aragnis is going to talk to the captain about how to keep the ship your ship, basically, right? How to protect it, how to keep it safe, and what measures you would really need to take. So, first things first, Regic and Derogate. You guys kind of meet with the crew. You actually would probably meet with the bosun, Corwell Git. So you can kind of get an idea of what's going on with the ship. Now it is kind of a skeleton crew. But what you guys do learn is basically how the airship works. The general principles. So you have the captured air elemental, which between that and the wood of the ship itself, the sung wood of the ship itself, which is an unnaturally light wood, the soar wood. So that causes the lift. But the thing that you've noticed and maybe never really given much thought to is how you can fly through the air and things aren't flying off the ship, right? And that is because the ship is surrounded by these wind wards. And that is really why you need a captain or someone with the House Lorandar mark, the Mark of Storms, because they have that ability to manipulate and control winds. And what these wind wards do is they kind of just create this pocket of air and everything just flows around your ship. So it literally slices through with all of the air current going around your ship in this almost protective bubble. So really the responsibility of the crew is to constantly be making adjustments to the wind wards. And so that's what you guys kind of learned, but it's a very, very complicated process. Much like, sailing a ship, right? And so while you guys kind of get an idea, you could probably spend, several days shadowing them and only pick up bits and pieces of what it is the crew is doing, right? But you get an idea. You know much more about an airship than you did before. So you guys spend some time during that day just kind of going around and shadowing. In the event that you would have to fill in for the crew, you would at least be able to potentially competently do what someone told you to do. You wouldn't necessarily know what to do, but if you needed to help, you would probably have the ability to know what to do, provided they told you, hey, the this wind ward needs to be adjusted, or you need to move this back.
Like learning terminology, basically.
Exactly. All right. And so as far as Kraz and Jordan, so you guys kind of see that you're both doing the same thing, whereas Jordan, you were taking a physical stroll. It's not super easy to read the ledger because a lot of it is lot numbers. So Kraz, you quickly find that you also need to kind of view the inventory. And so the end result is you see, number one, the ship was set to go back into Kabara, where you guys came from, before heading to the Moor Holds. And so it was set to pick up additional cargo. So by no means are the cargo holds full. It looks like they had dropped off a bunch of goods in Gatherhold, were headed to Kabara for more, and then on to the Moor Holds. However, after carefully comparing manifests with logs, you get a rough idea of the value of the cargo. And it looks to be about somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 gold pieces worth of cargo.
Assuming it was sold in the right way.
Assuming it was sold in the right way.
So you said how much?
4,000 to 6,000.
Okay.
I'm gonna put some kids to bed. I'll be right back.
Yep. This is now actually probably a good time for me to do the same.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
All right.
Sounds good.
The ship is called Lightning's Fury, right?
I don't remember.
Let's see.
Did it have a name?
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Lightning's Fury. I had it in my notes.
Lightning what?
Lightning's Fury.
Oh, cool. That's a cool name.
All right. So we have 2,200 gold in the lockbox.
The chest.
4,000 to 6,000 worth of gold worth of cargo, if we can sell it, and it'll be sold for a lot less probably on the black market.
Assume half off.
The contents of our bag of holding, we have 4,000 gold worth of gear in there. That's potions, spells, the idol, etc.
Man, so
We
my freaking spellbook changed.
we have an unidentified magic item in the bag of holding. that
Do
should
we?
Probably, yeah. A pair of glasses.
What is it? Oh, a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm going to move that into my character sheet so we can identify it.
How do we feel about just landing in Zolenberg? Say, hey, what's up, and just land with our airship.
I feel a little worried about it.
Yeah, I think maybe like parking somewhere nearby and traveling in by foot or whatever other means
Mhm.
makes a bit more sense. That way, we don't immediately alert everybody, because even if it wasn't a stolen airship, like, it probably is going to attract a lot of attention.
It could.
I like
yeah,
that idea.
I do too. I think that's our best path forward, and unless there's another idea on the table. Yeah,
Do we know how.
I think we know that the ship is pretty valuable right now. So
Yeah. Do we know how verdant Zolargo is? Looks like we're not near a forest. Zolargo.
it's a good question. What the terrain's like.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's pretty barren, or there might not be a place to really hide it, so there wouldn't be.
It does look like those the Seawall Mountains. They're right there next to Zolenberg. Maybe we could park it in like a valley or something. Kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. Industries. What's the topography look like? Yeah, I like the mountain idea. That's probably our best bet.
And did we all want to go in together?
I think it would be smart to do that and make sure the captain.
Yeah,
The captain.
I
comes
don't
with
like
us.
splitting up again.
Yeah, and if we bring the captain and the apprentice or whatever, then they can't fly the ship away. Nobody can.
Yeah, we're
that's
up.
a good idea, too.
We're giving them hazard pay anyways, so they probably want to stick with us as long as our money is good.
Oh yeah, yeah. But if they guard the ship, and there's no one that can fly, then no one's gonna really. It would probably be pretty unlucky of us to have someone from Lirandar show up and be able to fly that ship away.
Yeah, I agree. I was also, I don't know, I'm a little on the fence about this kind of like keeping everything secret from the crew as far as like what our mission is concerned. Like if they're just there for the money, I guess that's fine too. But at the same time, it might resonate better if we convince them that our goal is just, just coming from Aragnus's point of view.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
I think-
sense for you.
Yeah. I think, I don't know like how possible it is to convince them, but that would be better in the long run than paying them.
Yeah.
Somebody could just pay them more, and then they could turn on us.
Right.
Yeah, or they could strike, or they could try to bargain for more. That's, I guess I'm kind of worried. Yeah, I'm worried
Right.
that.
They could realize we don't actually have enough. We pay them like this one time.
Yeah, that they get excited about the hazard pay, and then if they don't get paid right away or something doesn't pan out, then
Yeah, there's
if money is the only object at this point, I think it's gonna kind of be unfair.
we're asking a lot for them to give up any future career if they get found that they were helping us.
They already
Yes.
possibly could have, but we did give them the option to part ways with us when we get to our destination. So
I think they know that we're. Some of them at least know that we're, kind of secret agents or whatever the right word is there. So they're pretty excited about working with us too. So we can always string them along a little bit, like give them, not tell them the whole story, but tell them enough to keep them intrigued and coming with us.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Kraz is still convinced that, like, Kraz still wants to do right by the servitors and figure out why and who is framing him and the group. But
Yeah, I think we all.
I'm still a
we'll
loyal
still-
company man. The company is just misguided at the moment. So, like,
No,
I do feel like we're doing good, even though we had to commandeer a ship. We're doing our job, even though we're
Right.
not getting.
Right.
Oh
paid.
no, I don't. I don't have any. I don't have any lack of confidence in what we're doing. It's just basically convincing, people who work for us, whether or not they should.
Yeah,
do it.
I'm just saying, like, from Kraz's point of view, he wouldn't be lying to the crew. Like, he believes that we are doing the right thing. He believes we're serving the count or the servitors, even though they are currently against us. So, like, it wouldn't be a
Yes.
deception thing. It would be a persuasion sort of situation.
No, exactly.
in-
I think it would be a role of persuasion for sure if Aragnus was to do it too. So yeah.
Yeah, and like if we were like if we're in like the table area discussing this, just clarify, like Kraz would clarify with the group and reinforce the fact that he thinks that we are doing the right thing by the servitors, even though they're currently against us. They shouldn't actually be. So
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, our mission is to help the servitors and figure this out, not for us, but for them.
Yeah.
Like, our job is to figure out what's going on because it's compromising the servitors, the organization that I work for.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that the servitors have been compromised at this point, and we're still trying to do the right thing.
now, so this is playing into me being lawful like that. So I that's where my motivation is coming from, is like, okay, the thing that I follow, even though the things we're doing right now are kind of seedy and not okay, they're serving the
greater good.
Yeah, they're serving the greater servitor goals, which I have aligned myself with. That
And we've always kind of worked under the radar of, like, the laws don't necessarily apply to us as servitors in general. We all have very distinct clandestine skills.
Yeah, a lot of cases I will say that in some cases it's almost been a situation of the ends ends justify the means, particularly when it comes to, protecting the houses and, keeping a good light on the Council of 12.
We have a nice collection of lawful characters. One true neutral and one chaotic. But
Yeah, you kind of have to be lawful if you're going to be like, in a special operations group. You have to have a pretty deep loyalty, I would say.
That makes sense.
Like they don't just pick some rando off the street to be part of a special group. They pick people that they know they can trust, which tends to be a lawful person.
All right. I don't know if Jordan is back yet.
he's not said anything.
Okay. So I'll get back in a sec to what you guys find. So other than potentially, the funds that you could get from selling the cargo, and it looks like the cargo is mostly trade goods. It looks like you came from one of the House Cannith factories, but it's more like specialty items. But there's nothing like too exotic. But this is a pretty big ship with, like I said, the lower cargo is where they could take on a lot more. So the deck that had the vault is pretty empty. However, the deck you're currently on has a lot of cargo.
Is me being familiar with this area, would I possibly, am I law enforcement, would I possibly know of a place like a fence town, like a town you can go to sell illicit goods, and people tend to go the other way?
Yeah, I would say you've been involved in raids and things like that, and I don't think there's an investigator or a detective in existence that doesn't know where the criminal elements are, who to talk to. If you hear about this type of crime, you generally know who's going to be able to give you information. And while you didn't necessarily work with like smuggling or grand larceny, you would know. Now, granted, are those contacts still around? Would you necessarily know how to make contact with them right away? No, but I would say definitely you would have a pretty good idea of where to go.
Okay.
There's probably elements right there in Zollenberg, definitely in Trollenport and Korenberg, which the three main cities are Trollenport, Korenberg, and what was it? What was the other one? There's one more main city.
So, are you guys taking an inventory of everything that we have, like a paper inventory, or like finding one, like a?
Yep.
Like
They have one, yeah.
Okay,
We did that already.
so we can bring that the manifest. Is it a manifest they call it?
Mhm.
Yep.
We can probably bring that with us.
Combined.
Trollenport.
Yeah. Derogate, you want to fill Nate in on what our plan is for the ship?
Yeah, so I think we're going to look at trying to park the ship kind of nearby Zollenberg over in the I've closed the map. I think it was the Seawall Mountains. Look for a valley over there where we kind of put the ship in the valley away from the city, but nearby, and get down onto the ground and go in by foot.
Okay. So here's one thing that you and Regic have learned about the airship. The elemental ring is basically when the the bound elemental is released. It can be taken back into the core, and the ring disappears. The lift disappears. So you can basically, for all intents and purposes, turn off the ship, right?
Oh, so it can become an actual ship.
It could become an actual ship, and it could also just, remain hidden, if you will, because that elemental ring is pretty obvious. It not only does it give off light, but it's probably somewhat noisy as well. So when the elemental is pulled back into the core, which the core is built by House Cannith, the bindings, its design is by Zilargo, the gnomes of Zilargo, but the manufacture is done by House Cannith. But yeah, so that's absolutely doable. You guys could find a place to hide the ship, and outside, so that way you're not actually heading to a port.
Mm-hmm. And our other thought was to also, when we go into the city, to take both the captain and the understudy, whatever I can't remember her name. So even if someone happens upon the ship, the likelihood, hopefully the likelihood that Alir and our captain is with them is incredibly low. So, and no one else can fly the ship and escape.
Right.
Or take over.
Yeah, so that would be Rindra and Elisana.
Yeah, Rindra and Elisana. The thing that we were debating was what and how to tell the crew the situation and figure out how many of them want to get their money and bail in Zollenberg, because we still want to give them. I think we still want to make good on our offer to let them leave, but make a very convincing argument that they should stay.
Okay. You'll probably want to have your first conversation be with the bosun. Yeah.
With who?
And he would be not the first mate, but he's in charge of the crew. So the boatswain is in charge.
He's a sergeant.
Of the crew. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And he's also the one that they all look to, right? If you remember the conversation, he's the one that negotiated the hazard pay, as well as the skeleton crew pay, right? So not only are they getting paid hazard pay, but they're also each man is getting paid extra for extra shifts because they don't have a full crew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the men all look to him before, giving their assent. Of course, you have the two guys that were like super excited either way. So
yeah, let's have a chat with him.
Okay. So while everyone's doing their thing, did you want to have a conversation with the captain? Did you want to have a conversation with the captain and Corwell?
Yeah, let's get Corwell, the captain, downstairs, and we'll do a meeting.
Okay.
That
All right.
sounds good.
So I'm gonna say that I'll wait for Andrew to return to kind of tell him what he found as far as the any
I'm back, sorry.
undocumented. Oh, you're back. Cool. All right. So real quick, so the two of you kind of get an idea, and I told Matt, I don't know if you're here. There's about the potential for the cargo that you do have is about between anywhere from 4,000 and 6,000 retail value. right? Because it's kind of high-end goods from various, manufacturing plants from House Cannith. So it's not a lot, but it's high value. And so now you guys do find a few things that don't appear on the official cargo list, but it's not a lot, and it's hard to tell like where it might have come from. That's really loud. So you're not sure like where it would have come from, because there's nothing in the manifest, but it does appear that there might have been a little bit of undocumented trade happening, maybe. It looks to be mostly, again, more luxury items. There are some casks of really, really expensive, fine alcohol, as well as some like almost like fine, maybe I guess China, like really good, expensive, like household items.
Housewares, yeah.
Yeah.
We got the home
There's
goods in
not a
our
lot
ship.
of it. Yeah, there's not a lot of it, but there's there's enough of it that it stands out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're not sure what the value would be. There's probably about 15 total casks. It looks like different types of alcohol, anything from brandies to what looks like very, very fine wines.
Now,
Keep some of those.
is there a process by which people looking to fulfill their orders kind of post like what they're looking for or things? Like, is there a merchant bulletin board
We would
looking for
probably
15 casks?
You're right.
Oh, I see.
Because I'm thinking I could forge legitimate documents that allow me to appear as a person selling it in a more retail-oriented way.
You're like
Sure.
a wholesaler.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be hard to do because there's not, it would be no different than taking goods out of Canada into the U.S., right? You can't trace those goods back to their source in another country. So, really what we have here is a European style market. So anything you take across the border, no one's going to look too closely at. So you wouldn't have to necessarily...
We're not going to look for King George's tax T-stamp on it?
Exactly. And now it is possible, and this is something you may not know, that the type of alcohol may be very telling. Someone who
Could
really
be
knows
rare.
their stuff, right? They could say, "Oh my God, you have the so and so year vintage, and this was, this is very expensive, and
How did you get this?
Exactly." Whereas someone who just is like, "Oh,
They'll
yeah,
have an
sure."
airship.
Yeah, so
It was in the airship we stole. I mean,
yeah.
This was acquired at auction.
we boosted it.
This is the boost you're looking for.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
to
that's-
answer your question, if you got to a city, it probably wouldn't be hard to find someone who is open to buying certain types of goods.
The booze could be a dangerous game. I don't know.
We should
It
just
is.
keep it.
If you went to like a connoisseur, yes, right? If they really know their stuff. Whereas if you just go to someone, you're going to get the best price from them. You might get a much less price, but they're not going to ask any questions, right? So if you really want to get the full value, it's a little more dangerous. Whereas if you just want to offload it for a quick buck, it's probably not that traceable.
But that's only with like the fine wines.
I mean,
The other stuff is probably okay.
Are we still dabbling with
maybe.
the idea that we can keep this ship illegally and, actually succeed at docking at another port somewhere?
I'm gonna
Well,
try,
more
but
than once?
I think that's the conversation that you guys want to
we're
have
about to have
right
this
now.
conversation.
So you guys send word. Rindra and Kor will join you here in the main area, and
We sort of have a bit of a moral obligation to some crewers here that we've
Yes.
I'm just gonna
coerced
get people,
into this unknowing adventure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get people out of bed now. Regic and Kraz, are you keeping your current forms?
Yeah,
I am.
I'm
okay.
still Zealot, and will be
Okay.
for
The time
a
being.
while.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so the ship it's now the next morning. You guys have probably been sailing now for like I'd say close to 14 hours. So we're well into afternoon. You guys have had a chance to check over the ship. Derogate and Regic, you worked with the crew. Now the crew did find it a little odd that Masana was looking to learn more about the ship. They were vastly more intimidated by you knowing your position than Derogate. But so I would say that they probably let Derogate do more, whereas they probably would have been mortified if you had
Coil the rope.
tried to do anything. Yeah, pull a rope or adjust something. They would have probably been like, oh no, let me handle that. So you can there's definitely a very different in how the crew treated the two of you. So here you are. The captain and Corwell have been summoned, and they're ready to talk.
I gaze at Cornwald and tell him I worry about the sustainability of the crew.
So he nods and kind of gives you an appraising look, and he just kind of says to you, he says, it's a good crew that we have. I think you're doing right by them, and they'll do their part. I would need to know how long you guys can't move around. I have to pause. Why can't I select any token?
I can't select any either.
might have to
I say I know we weren't truly forthcoming earlier about our mission, but I believe our mission is important, and I believe it might be important to the land. Within the last few weeks, we came across a great evil, and we believe we are in the right. And I believe we need to try to convey this to the crew somehow to make it, our mission in line with theirs.
As you're talking, this is kind of you can see that this is kind of uncertain news to him. And as you're talking, he kind of looks over towards who he thinks as Masana and over towards Zealot, and he's looking a little uncomfortable, and he gives you a kind of a hard look, and he finally after it looks like he's kind of weighing his option, he addresses you, and he just basically says, It was pretty unorthodox how you boarded and we left.
Yes.
You seem to be telling me that this vessel may have been commandeered without approval?
The vessel was commandeered without approval, but for the organization we work for, which is the 12, we do not need approval. The problem with our situation is that we are a highly secretive organization. So most people do not know about us, right? And they think that this ship, they will think that this ship is stolen. But the reality is we do work for the 12, and we haven't stolen the ship. We have simply commandeered it.
We have the right and the authority to commandeer the ship.
But as far as anybody else is concerned, we don't exist. So it appears that things are not on the up and up.
So, our promise to you when we boarded, that we would give you and the crew an opportunity to part ways if you see fit, that offer still holds, but we would appreciate continued assistance.
Yes, it's my fear that the awkwardness of, coming aboard and interacting with your crew has compromised the future longevity of them sticking around with us. And I think it's important that they do. I believe that the fact that there's not enough crew to man this ship is an issue, and I believe we might be able to remedy that in Zolenberg. And I believe that some of your crew may not just be satisfied with the fact that they may be making hazard pay when they don't know the true origins of their situation.
And truth be told, the longer they are in this situation and they've been in it and flown the ship at our behest, the longer they stay in this situation, the more likely it is that they will find some complexities returning to their livelihood, unless we help clear their name as they help clear ours.
He's mostly been silent and listening as each of you speak, but you can see the frown on his face deepening.
May I make a persuasion roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, 16 if you didn't see it.
Yep, I saw it. He just kind of purses his lips, and so as you guys settle and you're all just kind of turned to watching him, he looks pointedly at the captain, who doesn't. She immediately kind of looks away and doesn't meet his eyes.
I chime in again and I say, I'm a man of my word. I wouldn't have brought forth any of the complexity here that we mentioned if it didn't really matter to me. And and the livelihood and safety of your crew. I'd also like to do a persuasion roll as well.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Oh.
he seems a little bit less upset after that. He's still frowning, still kind of pursing his lips and just kind of working his mouth as he thinks. Finally, he looks to all of you and he addresses, I do not think that you quite understand the gravity of this situation. Many of these men have families, people that depend on them. It's one thing to know that they are getting additional pay if you hold your word for the hazard pay and the extra hours. Many of these men's families will greatly benefit. But if you tell me that this ship will be considered stolen, then I am afraid it may be too late for many of these men to avoid the appearance of cooperation. They will be barred from any ship, any airship going forward.
Well, hold on. It's only been like 14 hours. Okay, we will drop you guys off in the mountains if you want off. There's no reason to think that your men will be barred at this point. If they want off, and you want off, you will be. You can say that we dropped you off and you've hiked the rest of the way. We're giving you that option. We are being honest with you, and we are letting you have that choice. All we're telling you is that if you stick with us, you will get paid, and we can't promise right away, but you will be vindicated in the end of all this, and everybody will come out of this okay. I know you have no reason.
Give me a persuasion as well.
Okay.
Ooh.
He just kind of slowly nods. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. And I believe your motivations. However, you do not understand. The crew is responsible for defending the ship. Any man who does not defend the ship will automatically be interrogated, questioned. And I am telling you right now, most of these men will not hold up to any kind of interrogation.
Well, you are kind of forcing yourself into a corner here because you can't say no, right? Because you're already too deep in it. So you're kind of limiting your choices here. You can either stick with us, wait till we vindicate you and vindicate ourselves, or you take your chances on your own and have to deal with the interrogators. So I don't think there's much of a decision here, but you feel free to make the choice to leave if you want.
He just kind of takes a deep breath and slightly, kind of shakes his head. You speak of backing myself in the corner, but this crew had no choice.
Um,
I understand.
I kind
Go
of
ahead.
I slammed my fist down on the table and I said, "You don't understand the importance of all this. The 12 have been compromised."
And this is everyone's way of life. Everyone's at risk here. Whether you take an active role or you sit on the sidelines and watch it happen, you're in this.
And believe me, what is going down right now is going to be a lot worse than a couple interrogators if we don't finish our mission. This is vital to the survival of this planet.
You speak
Well,
of
continent, I
the,
should say.
you speak
I
of
would
the
think
worry of the families of this crew. Those families are important, but the thing that we are dealing with right now puts many thousands upon thousands of families at risk if we don't solve and finish what we've started.
You already know what can happen
It's a,
to this
it's a
planet.
father's duty to make sure his children have a bright future. It would be awfully short-sighted for people to go back and leave this cause.
Now, if you choose to stay with us, you will get. You just let us know what you want. You want more crew? We'll see if we can work on getting more crew. We will do everything we can to make sure that this is an easier trip for you and everybody on board. And we'll make sure that your people are taken care of. We got another 14 or 15 hours. You know, you can take the time to confer with the crew.
Let's let the man
But,
speak.
yeah, go ahead and do your thing.
I would be careful what we tell them. I understand what you say as far as the danger. I believe that you believe that this danger is real. These are men who just are working. They work hard. They take care of the ship. But they have families. No. Good night. Love you.
Hi.
Get out of here. Love you guys. At the end of the day, their families will be more important. Keep the danger out of it. That will only cause panic, and they will be more likely to flee, especially those who have families. Tell them only what you must. But the best way that I have found is to offer them the chance of a lifetime. And for these men, that will be hard currency that they can use to better their families' lives. You, and he looks pointedly towards Derogate and Masana. You cannot run this ship without these men. You may be able to find a new crew wherever you are headed, but these men are the only way to get there. Do not panic them. Do not confuse them with whatever infighting or... And he just kind of seems like at a loss of words. Whatever is happening with the houses, they should not know this. Tell them that the job is important and that they will be well rewarded, but that secrecy is a must and they must not contact anyone. They will try, if you give them leave. They will try to reach out, and that could damn them. So be careful.
Understood.
I'll say, so does that mean you're on board?
he just kind of, gives you a wry chuckle. As you said before, our options are limited. But I am telling you now, these are men with family. They are good men. I am trusting you to your word. And he looks right at you, Ragnas. Do not abandon them or make them casualties in this. You take care of them, and they will take care of you and the ship. They will serve faithfully. I would recommend that we increase our numbers of crew. This is not a full crew, and the men will work themselves ragged trying to maintain. I can teach you, and he kind of nods over towards Derogate, and have you continue to learn with the men, but most of these men have been sailing all their lives. On sea or air. It is a lot to teach in a short amount of time. I would recommend more crew and pay them well. But do not reveal to them what you have revealed to me.
I'd like for you and the captain, before we arrive, to make a list of what we need, what amount of crew we're going to need, any supplies we're going to need when we get there. If we're going to make this work, we have to work together, and I think you two need to really get to know each other and come up with a plan to run this ship.
Now that a lot of it is kind of out in the open, now that you've been more upfront with Corwell, Rindra is much more relaxed, and she nods and even says to him, I've been a captain for a long time. You run the crew well, they respect you, and I think that if you trust these men, or if you trust these, and she just kind of motions to you, they will take care of you and your crew. He just kind of nods. I will put my recommendations. I'll work with the captain to give my recommendations for a crew. We're without a mage right, so if anything goes really wrong with these, with our air wards, we'll be in dire straits. We'll lose speed, and if your mission is as critical as you say it is, you probably don't want to be down or lose the capacity for speed.
We'll have to figure it out.
Is there a way to pay this crew's family now without them contacting their family through the banks?
And he just kind of shakes his head. Anything official would cause questions about the best thing these men could do for their families right now is be killed in action, because then House Lorandar would pay their life debt.
Well, that could be arranged.
Without showing proof, that would be difficult, and it wouldn't be a lot, but it would give something to their families. Most of the time, these things are monitored. If a ship goes missing, the scrutiny on the crew and their families intensifies. It is best to have no contact at all, or arrange unofficial, and he just kind of unofficial ways of of contacting their families.
We could do the Skyrim and have like a courier show up and say, "You have a inheritance from a random."
Yeah. Grella the whore has died and left you this inheritance.
You could do like, I don't know. We could hijack another ship and blow it up. that's so. Is it a few extra steps there?
All right.
I will think of it, but I would recommend that unless you know of trustworthy unofficial channels, it is better that their family does not know of their whereabouts.
Understood. I'm in a full agreement.
You may wish to tell the truth, and I appreciate it. But tell the crew. Make it exciting. Make it official. House Lorandar, the council, it does not matter. But the crew must think that what they are doing is above board, all across. I will help justify whatever you choose to tell them. Just please do not tell them the truth.
You
I
got it.
appreciate you know your men more than I do, and I will take your recommendation in full consideration. I believe you are right that the men that our mission should remain secret from them, but I believe it was still important for you to know.
Well, I think we could probably call it the meeting. Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about.
Nope.
No, that's it.
We relay where we want to actually land.
Yeah.
But
You want to tell that to them?
yeah, the captain and
So the captain nods, and Corwell gives you a nod of approval. This is wise. And this vessel has a very distinctive masthead. It is possible that she could be recognized. I think some modifications are in order, and for now it is best to avoid any official ports.
Correct. And like I said, if there's something that we need to modify this ship to make it less noticeable, give it to us and we'll pick it up in town.
Do you plan on taking the crew with you?
to town.
In the town? No.
I will see that it is done. We have the tools. We can make adjustments.
I'd prefer to keep, not have the crew go into town. It'll just be us.
Their task
Like
is
you
to
said,
guard the ship at all costs. They should guard the ship at all costs.
and if they know how to hunt, get some fresh meat for us.
He nods. His final as he's turning to leave, he turns around, and he just kind of turns to you and he says, "Good causes are all well and good, but if you want to ensure the loyalty of this crew, then I have but one word for you: bonus." And with that, he kind of winks and heads out.
I'm gonna look at everybody when they leave and be like, "We need money."
This is fucking expensive.
This is very expensive. And I think we're gonna need to do some unsavory things to make some money.
Well,
Cross Europe.
once we are through informing the crew, we will also need to inform them that they will get a bonus, but since we're on official business, it is no longer hazard pay.
Oh, that's amazing. Capitalism strikes again.
I mean, they'll get hazard pay for the day and a half.
I'll post the notifications that unionization is highly frowned upon.
Well, you know, if worst comes to worst, we can just, you know, crash this thing into a mountain and jump off the side, and then we don't have to pay anybody.
Is it 4,000 gold for the crew for how long? Just a day?
No.
Or a month? Like what?
Month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's much better.
Yeah.
Okay, then no, I wouldn't suggest that, what I just said then.
Yeah, maybe, like I said, maybe we can get into town and we can pick up some bounties and try to collect some.
I actually think it would be it would actually be longer than a month. Like, that would be the, like,
I would
if
think
they
it'd be
were
like a
going
deployment, like a
their
6-month deployment.
voyage, right? Yeah, the deployment. That would be for the full deployment, which,
Oh, okay.
you know, they were probably set to be done for a while and get some leave when they got to the Marar holds. So they probably only had like maybe another week of their deployment. So now you guys are extending it. They would have gotten paid at the end, so their normal pay will be due. But then the hazard pay would be for any time that you guys deem appropriate, or, you know, while the mission is changed. Now they're probably going to expect something more, but that may be why Corwill said
Bonus.
You know,
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
I got
Maybe,
it down.
yep.
Maybe our resident thief can do a little burglaring while he's in town for some fine jewels, and we can, you know, pass out some diamonds or whatever as bonuses.
Oh, it's a slippery slope.
Robin Hood. That's
Greater good.
Yeah.
The road to hell, baby.
This is how every supervillain like starts. Greater good. Okay. So you guys have had a chance to talk to the captain. Corwill had some good suggestions for you as far as how to talk to the crew, what to tell them, etc. The captain, he both agreed with your plan to park the ship outside of town, and Corwill even thinks he can make modifications to the ship to make it look less recognizable.
Right.
Maybe not to deep scrutiny, because there is a registration of every ship. So every ship is registered, and you found the registration documents in the vault.
I would like to begin forging new ones.
Yep.
Good idea.
He'll add a mustache. Yes.
Yeah, if we can start forging new papers, we can change the name of the ship, repaint it. It won't hold up to scrutiny, but it might if we have a careless dockmaster somewhere.
Hypothetically speaking, like, where's the central repository of this? Like, how much is this information actually copied?
So, most of it would be with House Lorandar, right? But these registries are available at most major cities as well, because taxes, right? That's why ships get registered, is so that they can pay the taxes on the cargo and things like that to the various nations that they're trading in. Now, some nations may have agreements, things that you guys wouldn't know without asking someone who does absolutely know. but that's really the purpose, right? It's all about trade and taxes and making sure that treaties and tariffs and embargoes are enforced. So it's kind of common, but there may be, ways around it.
Okay, so it sounds like there's an official identity sheet, and then that sheet has a registration locally.
Right. So for some smaller places, they would take your registration, but wouldn't be able to verify it. Right.
How small is this place on that scale?
Zolenberg, it's a smaller city in Zilargo, but it's also not a podunk town.
Okay.
It's big enough to be on our world map. Which
So my first order of business is to plan a little planting of evidence. That way they have something to verify my carefully forged copy against. So
Maybe.
I'll need to make my forgery and what I think it would look like on file.
Maybe.
Good idea. All right. So I guess we're just
On
gonna,
safe harbor.
do our thing until we arrive. I guess, right?
Yep. So
Because what we're pulling up outside and then hoofing it in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Perfect. So
now,
if I get there ahead of the boat, I can register us.
you guys will probably be getting there early morning. Because you'll be sailing on through the night, and the crew is basically just taking turns and sleeping as they can, but running, long hours. So you'll probably have a pretty good opportunity that at first light you'll be able to find something, but you'll probably be still. You don't want to get too close, so you're probably looking at about a 3-hour walk.
Mm-hmm.
Can we
With
get there
nothing,
that I can walk in fast enough that I can slip into a building before it's occupied? Or is that unrealistic?
Huh?
I want to go to the place where the registration documents are, and I want to plant my own document.
No, okay, I get that. What I'm saying is, it's probably going to take you some time. So you're going to get to the general area of Zolenberg early morning.
Right.
Probably like 5-6 a.m. And then you have a 3-hour walk to the town of Zolenberg. So then it's going to be mid-morning.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
it'll be
good.
bustling. at that
I'll get to
point.
scout it out and then do it overnight.
Okay. Okay, so you guys, continue to make preparations. Generally speaking, what do you want to tell the crew?
Oh, jeez.
And who is going to tell the crew?
I think mostly we were gonna, try to tell
Well,
them as
let's
little as
figure the
possible,
story
right?
first. So,
So we're
It's a
gonna.
secret mission. That's important. That it's secret, so they can't tell
No.
anybody. We have to make sure that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to talk to anybody, or else they're going to immediately phone home, right? So we have to be sure to tell them that, not to do that.
I don't know if we have to tell them that or not.
Well,
He's
Cool Will
specifically
said
said-
explicitly that should happen.
Yeah, because
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So
Just on the
I
high
thought-
points. Secrecy. Getting paid.
secrecy and exciting. So, something about them being talked about as heroes for like pumping
What
them
happened?
up.
Gathering.
Yeah, like the them being important, that we have selected them to join us on this mission, and aid us in our journey, and they'll be well compensated with.
All right, so I should probably talk to them because they seem to have a infatuation with this beautiful body. By the way, I keep a huge bulge in my pants just in case they get any ideas.
I think you have the best persuasion roll.
Your money roll? It's your money roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll probably have people chiming in. So rather than have you say all that, I just want a general idea of what you're going to tell them. So do me a favor. You roll your persuasion, and everyone that wants to assist, chime in. Do your roll a persuasion roll, and if you beat a 10, Ryan gets a +2. But you have to. All right, so Kraz, you can give him a +2. You have to have it trained. In this case.
All right, I'm gonna roll.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so that's +4, +6. So Regic, that's a 21. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right. So you guys managed to make it seem pretty exciting. The two that were really already super excited are just kind of like over the top. They're like, yes! While as the other three are still kind of looking towards Corwill, who even Corwill seems to be getting into it and clapping men on the back, and that seems to really sell it to the crew. And they have a few questions. Two of the men, they kind of know something's not right because they knew where they were headed. They knew they were heading to Kabara, ending up in the Moror Holds before they had leave. And so they have a few questions about their families. Can they contact them? So how do you guys want to respond to that? You don't have to say it and make it perfect. You just tell me generally what you're going to say, and then you're going to make a roll.
I'm going to say, for the sake of the mission, they cannot have any outside contact, and due to the fact, and for their safety, and due to the fact that this is a highly classified mission, that they will be compensated and their families will be taken care of.
Okay.
But emphasize it's for the family's safety.
Okay. I'm going to let Kraz make a roll and Regic make your persuasion roll and see if Kraz can benefit your roll. That's a benefit. Okay. And so then everyone on the crew seems to totally understand and get it. And there's a general feel of excitement. You can see some pride and some, like confidence and really feeling good that they're a part of something really big and important. So at the end of it, Corwill catches your eye and gives you an inclination, basically saying, that was good. You did it. You managed to persuade the crew.
Excellent.
So with that, the crew is ready. They kind of explain. Corwill helps explain what they're going to do, and he does it. To his credit, he does it in a way that really gets the crew excited. And so, they're already talking about new names for the ship. You can hear bits and pieces of that conversation, just wondering what important mission they're on. And from time to time, you can see that, when the crew's not looking, Corwill is just a little bit nervous. But in front of the crew, he seems to to really be, supportive and sharing your vision, or if you will. So as night begins to break, you guys are passing over the peaks of the Seawall Mountains. Off in the distance, you see the lights of Zollenberg. Far away at this point, but as you continue to head roughly towards it, you've seen a couple of airships during your travel, but they've all been pretty far off. You've also seen some, especially while you were over the bay and as you approached the shores of Dargoon, looking over the side, you would be able to see lights on, vessels and things like that, or during the day, actual sea vessels. But as you break, as dawn breaks, you can actually see. Working with the captain, you guys find something, and basically you approach from the north of Zollenberg, kind of in between cities, to just kind of work your way in. So now you're heading towards Zollenberg in the south, and between Corwell and the captain, they spot out a pretty good spot where they think that they could land and disable the vessel and have it be somewhat safe and as hidden as it can be. And I'm going to say you guys are probably about 3.5 hours from Zollenberg on foot. So the crew, the ship obviously has enough food for a while, but they, because they've been in Gatherhold for a while, so a lot of it has been restocked. So at this point, you guys would just need to decide what all you're taking with you.
Well, we don't have much to take, right?
Not any of the cargo at this time. I would.
Yeah, we'll have to get horses or donkeys or something to get this cargo out of here. There's no way we can.
It says unless we forge a reason for being there while we're in town, and then bring the ship in tomorrow.
I have a spell. It's called Find Steed, and I can summon a warhorse.
Oh shit!
And yes, I'll choose to do that. It's going to take 10 minutes to do it, and I'll have a warhorse to strap up some gear onto.
Let me see.
Let me see if I can tag it on my character page here.
Is that a Find Steed? There it is. Is that the one you're looking at? Find Steed?
Find Steed, yeah.
Okay. What is the duration on that?
Till it dies.
Wow.
Or are you not a horse breeder?
Just keep casting it. Selling horses.
Sell a horse every day.
Let's camp out at the ship for like 8 days
sell a horse every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it does use a slot, so there's that.
Perfect. Let's sell horses. That's how we'll feed the crew and how we will pay the crew.
Right? Horse meat, baby. We'll make glue out of their hooves and sell glue.
Leave behind. You can also, as an action, causing same steed. Wow. This is like Find Familiar on crack.
Right?
Right? I mean, it is. So there it is. Okay. So this is. Are All right. So what is it you are looking to summon? A warhorse?
A warhorse.
Okay. Okay. And so by default, this thing has a warhorse normally would have an intelligence of 2, but it becomes a 6. And now is this a celestial, fey, or fiendish being?
Celestial.
Celestial. That's what I figured. Okay. So as you meditate, you go to a small clearing away from the ship. And this being the first time you using this spell.
Yes.
You sit down and you meditate with your holy symbol, your object, and just kind of a calm, settles onto you, and you in your mind you seek out, and suddenly in front of you, as if stepping out of almost a mirror, a shimmering blue form of a horse kind of just steps out of nothing. And as it shakes its mane, the colors solidify. Describe your horse to us, please.
It's brilliantly white, with several scars along it, but you can't quite make out why why it would have received damage at all. It's heavily armored, with metal plates down its back. Yeah, I guess that's it, pretty much. That's all I got.
All right. All right. As it approaches, it turns, it shakes its mane and goes down, like does almost a bit of a bow towards you, and then just kind of sidles up and nudges you. What is the name of your horse?
Shit. I should have thought about this more, I guess.
Chaz. His name is Chaz.
Chaz.
Derek, and you kick it.
Cheddar. That's a really good one.
Wade Justice.
Wade.
White Lightning.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you permission for the character. So you will be the owner.
Totally
Okay.
looking up racehorse name generator.
Just name him something like crazy, like flamingo or something that makes no sense. Turtle.
I don't think Arachnus would do that. I think he'd have to he'd name his horse
Well, and
something that
you may,
resonated with his
Yeah.
Big Q.
and you may not have a name yet. You may need to get to know the animal before.
Oh, that's true.
Well, he's got an intelligence of 6. He might have his own name.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't mean it can talk, but it may give you a excuse me,
Inkling.
depending on the name that you decide to give it. So
Yeah.
Well, to be clear, I have a spell I can cast that can communicate with anybody with an intelligence of 1 or higher.
Ooh.
I could ask it. I could use it on it.
Oh shit! Then I have to come up with its name.
Do you wish for power, luck,
Exactly
wealth, or
what
health?
I was.
His name is Wade Justice.
There you go.
Power, luck, wealth, or health?
That's its whole name?
No. It's a random generator. I need seed values. What do you most wish for? Power,
It's a big, powerful animal.
luck, wealth, health. Power.
Power and health.
Derek will come up with a name.
What is your best trait?
Yeah.
We'll come up with the name.
Derek,
Passion.
Roger. I like Roger.
Stamina, openness, strength.
this is for Derek to decide.
Yeah.
Nate, real quick, I should have gained
Yes.
a level, third level spell. May I pick it and sync my character?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, some of my spells got messed up
Yeah,
too.
just let me know when you have it picked, and I'll resync.
I have it picked.
All right.
Yeah, like 2 of my spells in second level are not what I picked.
All right. Let's see. Which
Like
one?
calm emotions and detect thoughts. I had suggestion,
Oh.
and I had
You might actually be getting those from features.
maybe.
Let me just look at your character on.
I'm supposed to have suggestion, and I'm supposed to have like poison breath or something, or cone of poison or something.
All right, let's take a look.
But I don't. I mean, it's not necessary right now, but
Sure.
to fix it. But
I also have a sheet maintenance thing too.
All right.
all my other spells look correct except for those 2 second levels.
Spells. Okay. So I'm showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you have Mind Sliver twice. That's weird.
It was weird.
Okay. So then, second level. Yeah, calm emotions is coming from your psionic spell list.
Oh, and
Same
detect
with
thoughts.
detect-
Yeah.
Same with detect thoughts, and dissonant whispers, and arms of Hadar. So those
Yeah.
are all coming from your class. And actually, so you picked Mind Sliver, and you get Mind Sliver. So
Oh,
that's why Mind Sliver is showing up twice on your character sheet. But you said suggestion, right? I don't.
I'm
see
supposed to have
suggestion.
suggestion.
I don't see it on your character sheet on D&D Beyond. So if you go into D&D Beyond and edit your character, just change your spells and I will... Yeah, so at first level you get Arms of Hadar, Dissonant Whispers, and Mind Sliver. At third level you get Calm Emotions, Detect Thoughts, and fifth you get Hunger of Hadar and Sending.
Arms
So that's
is
why you
cool.
have some of those.
Yeah, I see the ones that I got for. I just didn't know where those spells went, but it's okay.
Yeah, just go into D&D Beyond and,
Yeah, I'm gonna do that
and
right now.
change it. Because right now, the only level 3 spells I show you as having is Fear and Counterspell, and you only have one level 6 or level 2.
Yeah, that's what's messing me up.
So yeah, so when I look your known spells, yeah, we need to remove Mind Sliver because you already get that. So you need to pick a cantrip. I thought you had Mold Earth.
I did. That's why everything's all
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to put back on Mold Earth. So now your cantrips are good. But you can get rid of some of your first level spells. You have 3 of those. You have Mage Armor, Disguise Self, and Comprehend Languages. And then for second level spells, all you have is Levitate.
Huh. Feels like you should have more than that.
Yeah. You should know 6, and you currently have 2 level 3rds learned. If you want to keep those, which is Fear and Counterspell, that's fine. But you probably want to give up one of your first level spells.
Yeah.
Either Mage Armor or
Yeah, you probably want like
comprehend
two.
languages, or disguise self.
You probably want like 2 or 3 level 2s. I want to say. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You only get 6 known spells.
Yeah, sorcery.
So it's like 2, 2, and 2 is what you could do, but you'd have to give up one of your level. The benefit with sorcerer though is you can cast your level 1s as higher levels.
That's true. You want to pick something that on level 1 that you can range up.
Yeah, like disguise self doesn't fit that, and you're a changeling, so I'm questioning that one. I guess the only thing it does is it allows you to change your outfit as well.
Yeah, that's what I've been using it for.
Yeah.
Either way, I want to keep playing the game though. I don't want to mess with this because we're
fine.
burning time.
Matt, yours should sync.
Yeah.
So hopefully that.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you guys make your way. So you now have 1 horse, and it's got a lot of strength. So you could take some stuff if you wanted.
I think we should.
So what do you want to take?
The housewares, if they don't, some of the houseware stuff, if it doesn't look too unique, I guess. I was worried kind of with the specialty brews on whether or not, it looks like it could fetch a good price, but we might run into somebody that might know certain things about it. I don't really know a lot about housewares and and booze, so maybe someone else can take a critical eye too. Like Jordan's probably seen quite a lot of goods come from different areas.
I lived in a hole in the wall. It was like Harry Potter under the staircase. I didn't get out much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So are you planning on
See if I
not
have any
riding?
skills that
You're not going to ride the horse. You're just going to use it as a pack mule, basically.
I'm going to use the pack as a pack mule because
Okay.
I'm
not particularly knowledgeable.
gonna stay with the crew.
Okay. Oh, you're not
Did
going
anyone
into
drop?
town?
Hello? Check.
No, we can still hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay.
Would anyone else know of, specialize in goods of any sort among us
Me.
that I might not know? You?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could hear you, Andrew. Can you hear us now? Wow. Nope. Andrew?
I think he needs to disconnect and reconnect.
He just did.
Oh.
Okay.
So you think you'd know? Let's take a closer look at these housewares. See what we think.
I'm assuming it would be like insight or something like that, which I'm not trained in, so no, I probably wouldn't know.
Well, I have a very good insight, so maybe I could take a gander at what things are truly of value within the housewares and whether or not they bring suspicion to people that we would sell it to.
It would probably just be a straight intelligence check.
Okay. Which I am very poor in.
Me too.
So, it depends on what it is. You could potentially get your proficiency if you have, something. So, for example, you have a proficiency with a tool that is related to the object, then you can potentially get your proficiency on your intelligence check. Maybe if you have something in your background or something, you could also maybe get a little bit of a bonus. But I think just appraising an item in general would just be a straight intelligence check.
Yeah. So on the manifest, does anything on the manifest suggest where these items? Oh, that's right. They were kind of like questionable items, weren't they?
Yeah, the ones you're
Undocumented,
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't be identified as like where they came from. Okay.
But I mean, I would just say, give me an intelligence check.
All right. Let's do it.
And I would say Jordan and Kraz do the same because you guys were looking over those items. You're the ones that found them.
Four. What did you roll, Aragnus?
That was not. That was yeah. That was not,
You can just click on your character sheet and click on the word int.
You rolled 2d20. I was like, wow, a 24? And then yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Ooh.
This
I
is
will-
valuable. So
I will use my inspiration for
No.
this.
Okay.
I might as well. Okay, go ahead. Just hit the plus sign next to that, too.
Plus
Back.
sign. Oh yeah, look at that.
All right. So we got a 4 and a 14. So,
Better.
Kraz, you would probably put the value of these items at probably about between 1 to 200 gold. All right. And that's kind of what your estimate is. Aragnus, you're probably thinking more along the lines of 300 to 500.
Okay.
All right. So my question to you, Aragnus, did you say you're staying with the ship?
No, I plan on traveling
Okay.
with our
With your team.
with our crew.
So
but-
you're going to strap everything to the horse and not ride the horse, correct? Because they're pretty big boxes, crates.
Correct.
Okay.
We're going to use the war horse as a mule, and I will stay walking with the crew.
Okay.
With the
So
band.
you guys managed to load up. You going to bring any of the booze?
No.
All
At
right.
least I don't think I want to. Does anybody else have a care?
Nope. No.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys load up the pack horse, if you will, and make your way towards the city of Zolenberg. So as you guys kind of make your way in on the outskirts, you see a very busy, bustling town. It's not huge, but it's a pretty decent sized town. And as you make your way, Regic, a lot of memories are just kind of flooding back to you. Knowing the times you spent seeing areas, and of course seeing changes. Not a lot, but enough. As you kind of make your way, I'd say you probably more naturally take the lead. Do you knowing that this is kind of your city, if you will? You spent a lot of years here. Is there anywhere in particular you want to head?
Well, first things first, I'm going to shapeshift to Hadim,
Okay.
and I'm
Assuming,
going to-
assuming you're waiting till you're out of sight of the crew.
right, yeah, about an
Um,
hour and a half into the
But
journey.
obviously, at this point, Rendra knows that you shapeshift.
But everybody else doesn't yet.
Yeah.
But I want to go to Hadim, and I want to first we'll go to the market so we can try to offload some of this, or find somebody who's willing to buy it.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, I think that I want to look around and see if any of those wanted posters are posted out here.
Oh, good idea.
And then if-
I
Go
would
ahead.
also shapeshift into Ermenard.
Ermenard? Okay. All right. And then Aragnis, Derogate, and Jordan. Are you guys doing anything to disguise yourself in any way? Cover
Put
your
on a
face,
hat.
etc. Okay.
What's the magical cloth in this land?
I believe Glimmer Weave?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Shift
Glamour
weave, yeah.
weave.
Shift Weave. Thank you.
Yeah. I have a cape of that. I'll take it off and stuff it in one of my bags.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of wrap myself up in some cloth that I found
Okay.
there, but I don't really have much else.
Okay. So you want to first head to like the market area, and it's about mid morning, and you know right where to go. Ryan, give me a what do I want you to roll? Just give me a straight intelligence check.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna give you. Actually, I am gonna give you advantage on that. So go ahead and hit the plus next to that. So
It's been a while.
It's been a while since you've been here. And you're not really sure of, like, some of the shops have changed, and you're not really sure of the best place to go. You guys find your way towards the market, okay. That's not a problem. But with the goods that you have, you're not sure who the best person to talk to is.
Well,
I do not have any sorcery point.
what?
You don't have any sorcery points.
You should, right?
Yeah.
I don't fucking
Your
know.
resource pool is. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. So, despite being back in your hometown, you're not recognizing anyone. You're not sure who to take the stuff to. So you guys can try and just do some random, but nothing sticking out. Okay, there it is. You have 4.
I don't know. I just
Number
added
points.
4. I don't know.
I was gonna see how many you get. You get 5, sir.
Oh, sweet.
So 1 per level, I guess.
So yeah, I'll just I don't really care so much about selling this stuff personally. I mean, we could just do it. We just hawk what we can, or ask around. But I'm really more interested in looking around for wanted posters.
Okay. That you would know where to check, because you probably maybe in the beginning at least, passed out your fair share.
Yeah.
So you go by a few places, and while there are wanted posters, you guys don't find any of you. If that's particular what you're looking for.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for in particular.
Okay. So yes, you find some, but nothing that even remotely resembles anyone from your group.
Are there any high value targets like bounties?
There is one for 1,500.
I'm gonna take that bounty, pull it off the board, and
Are you gonna pull that poster? Okay. All
And
right.
if it appears that there isn't any bounty out for us, I'm going to find a dark area and shift back into Regic.
Ooh. Bold, sir. Okay.
Well, I can't use my contacts. I don't know who I am.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Who's gonna sell the stuff while Regic is doing his thing, or
I would like to put my ear to the ground and try to find someone who would be willing to have good talks to them, and we'll see if I talk to the wrong person.
that's your ear to the ground feature, right?
No, it's just investigation.
He literally has his ear on the ground.
He isn't here.
Files are in the computer?
Oh my good son, do you like dishes?
Yeah.
Have I got some fine house for you?
You're also just not quite like you ask a few people, but it's a pretty big area, and you spend a fair amount of time looking, but no one in particular seems interested in what you have to offer. You manage to talk to a few people. They seem, a little bit interested at first, but then, nothing. They're just not super interested in what you've got.
Okay.
If you guys want, more of you could kind of spread out if you want, to try and get some more ground covered. They might find someone who's interested, but that's up to you.
What we really need is someone to find a contact to buy the bigger sets of goods we have at the ship.
Yeah, kind of along those lines.
I do want to I want to head to see if I can see anybody I recognize and talk to them. That was part of the trust.
Okay. Do you want to stop by the local station?
Yeah.
Or okay.
I don't want to go to the main place, because I think that in case I'm gonna be a little stealthy about it, but I want to make sure that I see somebody that I know, if hopefully there's still somebody around that I recognize.
Well, so it's probably afternoon at this point, and that some of the detectives, investigators, used to hang out at a pub, grabbing lunch and things like that. That could be a place you could head to.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Versus, say, just walking up to the station.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Go to the local Dunkin' Donuts.
All right. Are you guys gonna all go together, or are you gonna split up at this point?
I prefer to be alone for this.
Yep. What are the rest of you gonna do?
I might go wander around and look for, see if there's anybody that's trying to buy some goods. I don't know too much about it, but I'll give it a shot.
Still be checking out. Kraz, Jordan, or Agnes?
I I'm gonna case the local house Lorandar, manifest depot.
You probably have a pretty good idea that I mean, you can definitely see where the airships are like docking.
Yep.
This is a landlocked, so you would imagine that any port authority would be kind of over there.
And
In that
do they
general
handle the tracking and tariffs on merchants, like who's authorized for the selling of what types of goods and things?
That's
Or who has a
probably-
call to, a call for order for?
So that would
goods?
depend on whether or not there were guilds, right? Trading guilds. And you probably don't know much about Zilargo to know if that's a thing or not.
Okay.
They would know. That would be the place to find out.
So that's kind of where I want to go, is because eventually my information gathering goals are to supplant documentation that says we're a legitimate vessel,
Mhm.
and that we have, the legitimacy to, deliver and sell the types of wares that we have on the ship.
Okay.
And B, if I can identify marketable opportunities in my travels, find records of, people who buy those things and that sort of stuff, then I want to make note of those pieces of information.
Okay. So you're heading off towards that, like the airship district, basically, if you will. Derogate's kind of just keep looking for someone here. Kraz, Aragnis, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna stick with Rudjik for now, and then basically kind of break off with him like a block or two away from what he's doing, just to stay out of his hair. But also, I'm new to the city, trying to gauge what it's all about. I'm kind of, messing with the gear on the warhorse, and revealing it kind of subtly to see if anybody will approach us.
Okay. Kraz?
I would like to look for a place that sells shift weave.
All right. Okay. So, you guys kind of head off into your various ways. Aragnis and Rudjik head one way. Derogate kind of sticks to the market area where Kraz also is, although you guys aren't necessarily, together. You're kind of both spreading out and looking at general goods and things like that. I'm going to say, Kraz, you don't have any problems finding a shop that looks promising for selling, fashionable items, which Shiftweave very much is. So it's more of a higher end store. So you make it in there, and you, Derogate, continue to kind of just browse around and look for, also kind of looking at high end stores, and you manage to find a store that deals in similar goods to what you guys actually have. So naturally, you head in there. Jordan, you make it towards the district that has the airships and things like that. And really what you're doing mostly is getting the lay of the land, trying to figure out, without being obvious, where everything's at, what buildings look promising.
Yeah, I mean, if I have an opportunity to, sabotage a window latch or something so I can make my job easier later, I might take that.
Yeah, and you kind of get an idea of where, like, the trade master would be. So, boom. Yep, Matt, go ahead. I will drop those into your I'll get those. I'll get those into your inventory here.
I'm going to use party treasure for it.
Yeah, I figured.
Interesting. What are you up to?
It's a good item.
I could just change my quantity to
Yeah, just change your do that. Change your quantity because I'm actually not finding that readily available. Not sure which compendium it's in. So yeah, do that.
Yep.
Change your and then you can distribute it when you get back together with everyone.
Yeah.
They are very, very pleased to have your business. All right. So Jordan, you spend some time figuring out. Really, the first step is to figure out where you want to go. But judging by the number of like ships captains and things like that that are heading in and out, official looking people, you figure out which building most likely was the right one, and then you kind of just subtly start casing the place. Aragnis and Regic. So you start heading in towards the like an older part of the city. It's close by to like the town hall / law enforcement facilities. So it's in easy distance of that. And as you guys are just kind of walking and making your way, it's a little bit before you would have probably motioned Aragnis to step away to give you some space. And as you're walking around towards the pub, a voice calls out to you. And you just hear someone like shout out in a bit of a surprised voice. And the voice just says, hold on one second, get an accent set. Lord. Really like a loud, higher pitched voice just shouts out, "Ay, mio, Regic! Do my eyes deceive me? Regic, is that you?"
I'll turn around and look.
You turn around and you see someone you would not at all expect, and that someone is an individual that you basically kind of screwed over.
Oh no.
It's an old informant that you used and during the course of one of your cases kind of burned. It is you, as he comes over, and suddenly there are about 4 or 5 other individuals who kind of start moving in. Well, I never would have thought to see you again. You should not have returned. But I'm so glad you did. And on that, we're breaking.
What was his name?
We're breaking. I'll tell you next week.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Speaking of, I believe the tentative. So, getting us back on schedule, I think next week would be our normal scheduled time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, Is everyone good with that? Does next week work for everyone?
Works for me.
Next week should be fine. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even add this game to the calendar, so my apologies.
Works for me.
Okay, so yeah, our normal playtime next week, 7:15. We'll see you then.
Excellent.
See
Okay.
you next Tuesday.
See you next
All right.
Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
It was
Later, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Nice. Night.